We only get back to normal if we get back to work. Jacob Rees-Mogg, a cabinet member who enjoys the optimistic title of Minister for Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency, has taken the opportunity to gently cajole, or is that troll, members of the civil service to return to their expensive central London offices. Here's the note that he distributed around Whitehall. It reads as follows: "Sorry you were out when I visited. I look forward to seeing you in the office very soon. With every good wish, Jacob Rees-Mogg." Not exactly a love note, is it? More like a poison pen letter. For the ever-polite politician that is Jacob Rees-Mogg, the message was clear. Get your arse back into the office pronto. This guy is not everyone's cup of tea. Rees-Mogg is very laid back at work himself. And of course, he's so old-fashioned that he makes the cast of Downton Abbey look positively up to date. But he's right to attack lazy civil servants lounging around at home. It's a matter of national duty to go back to the office now. Your country needs you. The renowned entrepreneur James Dyson, who has generated so much wealth for this country, including his annual personal tax bill of 120 million quid, has said that work from home has been a disaster for productivity, and he estimates it will cost the economy around £12 billion in lost income, not just because people won't be going to their local Costa or Pret-a-Manger near work, but because people work less well, have fewer ideas and get less done when they're not around others. Now, we do have a fantastic public sector. Furlough, for example, was a triumph of policy and delivery. But public sector workers have an advantage over the private sector. They are less sackable, with invariably better workers' rights, better pensions, and a pay grade that's better across the board. In many cases, it's a job for life. If you work for the state, you are paid for by British taxpayers, and that is a privilege. And anyone in the public sector is insulated from the rigorous commercial pressures faced by private organisations and their employees. Which is why it's a national scandal that so many in the public sector, particularly civil servants, are still at home, making cups of tea, caning the custard creams, emptying the tumble dryer, and catching the tail end of loose women. Work from home has been a revelation for many people. And if you're in a job that doesn't require your presence in the office, fair enough. I'm no Luddite. We cannot and should not undo many of the positive changes that we've seen in the last 2 years. Work from home is fantastic for employees with young families. They can drop the kids off to school and pick them up at 3:30 and still get a day's work done. It's great news for people with pets. Fido will get his 2 or 3 walks a day and plenty of cuddles as well. And I don't begrudge anyone saving on commuting costs, plus the stress and time wasted of travelling in and out. But look at the disaster at the DVLA, who have presided over a colossal backlog of driving licences, which is a nightmare for people that need to get on the road, and it will have a clear economic impact too. The Passport Office haven't fared much better, and difficulties processing who needed safe travel to Britain from Afghanistan during the botched Allied withdrawal wasn't helped by empty desks at the Foreign Office in Whitehall. 60% of our economy is based on consumption. In other words, us buying things and consuming them. The businesses clustered around once busy work hubs are withering on the line. Empty cafes with dusty glasses and city centre pubs, which have only got old Sid, who's been drinking there for 30 years, propping up the bar. We need to have an honest conversation about work from home, because whilst it suits many, it comes at an economic price. Millions of people working from home is impacting retail and hospitality, both big employers of young people and a source of national income. And it could cause a crash in the value of commercial property. Now, why should you care if a landlord can rent or cannot rent out his or her office space? Well, because there are often big fat mortgages on those properties, and many of the pensions upon which we rely are dependent on the income from these offices and retail spaces. Droves of people staying away from the work HQ is an economic race to the bottom. But it's not only about money. We are social creatures. We thrive on interaction. When you go into the office, you can discuss last night's EastEnders. You can grab the boss for a spontaneous word about a new project. Or catch a stolen romantic glance with Claire in marketing or Dave in accounts. He's got lovely eyes, that Dave. You can share ideas with your colleagues, support each other, laugh together, cry, and go out to the pub for a cheeky half pint at the end of a long day, have a gossip, and make sense of it all. Work from home is often something akin to slavery in your own house, with no clear delineation of when your work starts and when it ends, with many chained to the computer for in excess of 10 or 12 hours. We're in danger of becoming a nation of keyboard monkeys imprisoned in the gilded cage of our own home. Work from home is still a relatively new experiment, and we don't know the long-term mental health and indeed physical health implications of people just being able to shuffle from the bedroom to the living room as their daily commute. Is that healthy? I'm not so sure. Going to the office gets you out and about, and buying a bus or train ticket pays for the transport infrastructure that we all need and expect. So, as with so many of the tough choices facing policymakers, you can't have one without the other. You can't have a thriving economy that pays for a great health service, education, policing, defence and welfare, with millions stuck at home all day long, only going to their front door to collect an Amazon package or a Deliveroo. And don't let employers fool you that they're being lovely and caring by letting you work from home. They're saving a fortune on office costs, whilst many workers don't have the resources at home that they would at the office. The picture presented by the media of work from home has been moccasin-wearing middle-class types sending emails on a $2,500 Mac computer, working at an expensive oak table in a room which overlooks a sprawling North London garden. Well, that's not the reality for millions. Too many people are in flat shares, fighting for desk space in the kitchen with their cohabitants. It's working parents trying to check a company report with kids screaming in the background and CBeebies blaring. Some people don't even have a proper desk or chair to work on, or they've got crappy broadband or a bad computer. And a lot of accommodation in this country, as we know, is substandard. Leaky ceilings, plumbing up the creek, a boiling hot flat in the summer, or a freezing one in the winter. And of course, with the soaring cost of energy, there's a big difference between heating the house all day long and just having it on for a few hours in the evening. And notwithstanding the merits or otherwise of lockdown, you know my views on that one, it's been abundantly clear that it doesn't do us any good to be on our own and disconnected from the outside world. And further isolation and the daily reality of inhabiting a digital world risks further amplifying the power of social media and the groupthink echo chambers their algorithms are carefully crafted to create. Stuck online for hours every day for months and years on end is not going to be great for human psychology and will exacerbate the toxic divide our society is now faced with, played out in a virtual universe of Twitter and Facebook, but which is real nonetheless. If we're going to rehabilitate our economy and heal our divided society, we must come together. We must become a community again, and it starts in the office or on the factory floor. We're better together. It's time for Britain to wake up and smell the coffee and get back to the office. Work from home has now become so normalised, it's got its own acronym. It's known as WFH. But as far as I'm concerned, it's more like WTF. Excuse my French.